Hello, Lunch Bunch friends and fans. This is Sarah Chambers, your partner from Hospice of Northwest Ohio. I wanted to share an exciting milestone that we are celebrating throughout 2021. It is our 40th anniversary, and we are so thankful to the community that has supported us over the years. It is certainly a privilege to be invited into someone's life at such a vulnerable time. So I wanted to take this opportunity to share with you a little bit of my passion for the hospice philosophy and my pride in being a part of the Hospice of Northwest Ohio team. Now I would like to introduce you to Dame Cicely Saunders from the UK, who is considered the pioneer of hospice. She started her work in specialized care for terminally ill patients in 1948. You see, hospice is a fairly new concept in the overall world of medicine. But one thing to understand about Cicely is that she suffered from a painful and crooked spine. So from childhood, she understood what it was like to be a patient. She was born into an upper middle class family where her father didn't really approve of her desire to be a nurse. She attended Oxford, where she studied the acceptable politics, economics, and philosophy until the outbreak of World War II. She went against her parents' advice and enrolled as a nurse. Ultimately, her back pain forced her to look into a different career, and she became what was then called a lady almoner. We now know them as medical social workers. It was during this time that she recognized that hospitals were not an environment where peaceful end-of-life care could really happen. They were built to, of course, heal broken bones and infections. They were not equipped, and hospital staff were just not trained to effectively assess and treat all of the aspects of what she called total pain. Total pain was her concept that this type of pain is unique to the terminally ill population, and it included not only their physical symptoms, but their psychological, social, and spiritual pain as well. Her model was an interdisciplinary approach, so it involved physicians, nurses, social workers, spiritual caregivers, hospice aides, bereavement counselors, volunteers, and so many more. So she brought this idea to a physician friend of hers. She told him that there needed to be a specialty in medicine devoted to this vulnerable population. There needed to be people who could be trained, who were committed to the care of the dying. He told her that no one was going to listen to her as a nurse or a social worker. So she became a physician. In 1963, the dean of the School of Nursing at Yale University, Florence Wald, invited Dr. Saunders to lecture about her work. She spoke to an interdisciplinary group of students and professionals about this concept of total pain and holistic hospice care. She included photos of terminally ill cancer patients that she had worked with, showing the dramatic before and after photos when they first came to her inpatient center and after a few days of symptom management. 1967 brought the official opening of St. Christopher's Hospice in a suburb of London. The opening of this center is considered the start of the hospice movement. The first U.S. hospice to open was Connecticut Hospice in 1974. It was founded by Florence Wald and colleagues. 5 years later, Hospice of Northwest Ohio was created by a group of community volunteers. In 1981, we served our first patients. We had a staff of 5 and cared for 90 patients and their families that year. In 1995, the Edward and Marion Knight Hospice Center opened in Perrysburg. And in 2004, the Virginia Clifford Hospice Center opened in Toledo. Both buildings were completely funded by gifts from the community. Now remember that I said 40 years ago we had a staff of 5 who cared for 90 patients? In comparison, in 2019, we were privileged to serve more than 2,500 patients and their families in their own homes, in nursing homes, and at our inpatient hospice centers. Dame Cicely Saunders' model is used by hospice programs across the country, including ours. It is because of her and our own community members that we are able to provide specialized medical, emotional, and spiritual care to people of all ages. So it has been and will continue to be my honor to spread the message of hospice. I hope you learned something, and as always, feel free to reach out to me. Last but not least, happy anniversary to Hospice of Northwest Ohio.